Hello. Have you ever wondered why you feel tired all day, but wide awake at night? Why your energy crashes in the afternoon, or why sleep feels shallow, even when you get enough of it? The truth is, your sleep isn't broken. Your body is just out of sync with the one system that controls everything, your circadian rhythm. And once you understand how it works, everything changes. Your focus, your energy, your mood, and of course your sleep. This video will walk you through the real reason your rhythm is off and how to reset it naturally. So stay with me until the end. You might finally understand what your body has been trying to tell you all along. Subscribe to the channel and tell me where you're watching from. I'd love to know. Now, let's begin. You ever feel like your body's tired, but your brain is wide awake? You look at the clock, midnight. You tell yourself you should sleep. You even try, but something feels off. Like your body missed the memo. You're tossing, turning, thinking, overthinking, and then comes the scroll. Just 5 minutes, right? Wrong. 35 minutes later, your eyes sting, the room feels too warm, your thoughts too loud, and now it's 1:12 a.m., and you're more awake than when you got into bed. You think maybe you're just a night owl. Maybe it's stress, or maybe, just maybe, your body is playing by rules you never learned. Because while you've been focused on sleep as something you do, your body's been running on something much deeper, an ancient biological rhythm that dictates not just when you sleep, but how you sleep. And it doesn't just stop there. It's calling the shots on your mood, your hunger, your energy, your hormones, your focus. Almost everything you think is random is actually scheduled. It's called your circadian rhythm. And no, it's not just some abstract concept tossed around by wellness gurus or sleep scientists. It's real, it's mechanical, and it's running the entire show behind the curtain of your everyday life. Your body isn't guessing when to wake up or when to shut down. It's following a program timed almost to the second, with cues pulled from the world around you. Sunlight, darkness, meals, movement, screens, temperature, even your social habits. Think about this. There's a clock inside your brain, in a tiny part called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN, and this little thing controls when your body releases melatonin, when it spikes cortisol, when your body temperature drops, when your digestion slows, when your brain gets sleepy. It's a full-on symphony of signals happening every single day. But here's the twist. This internal clock isn't completely automatic. It listens. It reacts. It adjusts. Every time you check your phone at midnight. Every time you sleep in on the weekend. Every time you skip breakfast or blast artificial light at 10 p.m., you're not just breaking a habit. You're confusing your clock. And when your circadian rhythm gets confused, your entire system suffers. It's why you can wake up feeling groggy even after 8 hours. Why you hit that mid-afternoon crash like clockwork. Why you feel mentally foggy at random times. It's not randomness. It's misalignment. The truth is, your body craves rhythm. It was designed for it. Long before alarm clocks or night shifts or Netflix, our ancestors lived by the rise and fall of the sun. That rhythm wasn't just a habit. It was survival. The light told the body it was time to be alert. The dark told it to wind down. The pattern became ingrained in our biology. Fast forward to now, and everything's changed. You stay up late under bright LED lights. You snack at midnight. You take work calls across time zones. You treat sleep like a suggestion, not a necessity. And your circadian rhythm? It's trying to keep up, but it's losing the beat. Here's the scary part. Even small misalignments, just a couple hours off your natural rhythm, have been linked to increased risks of depression, metabolic disorders, immune dysfunction, memory issues, and even cancer. And you don't need to be a shift worker to suffer from circadian disruption. Most people today are socially jet-lagged, constantly shifting their sleep schedules based on work, weekends, social plans, and screens. It's like flying from New York to London and back every single week without leaving your bedroom. Your body doesn't know the difference. It just knows the light hit your eyes at the wrong time, or that your last meal came 4 hours too late, or that you stayed up watching videos until 2 a.m., convincing yourself that just one more was harmless. But your clock noticed, and it adjusted. And that adjustment? It ripples through your hormones, through your brain chemistry, through your energy levels, your metabolism, your patience, your cravings, your sleep. And yet, we don't feel it happening. Not immediately, not obviously. That's what makes it dangerous. Circadian misalignment is a silent drift. You don't crash all at once. You gradually stop feeling like yourself. You get moodier, slower, hungrier, restless. You start blaming work, stress, diet, anxiety. But deep down, your biology is off-key, and your body's just trying to find the rhythm again. What if I told you that the secret to fixing your sleep, to feeling focused, rested, and even emotionally balanced, isn't just about sleeping more, but sleeping on time? What if you could resync your entire system, not by taking something, but by simply listening to the clock that's been inside you all along? Because while the modern world is loud, your body is still quiet, still rhythmic, still waiting for a pattern it can trust, and that pattern starts not when you close your eyes, but hours before. And in the next part, we'll talk about exactly how that internal rhythm works, what cues it listens to, how it shapes your biology hour by hour, and how tiny changes in your habits can shift everything. Even if your sleep has felt broken for years, it might not be broken at all, just out of sync. Let's zoom in. Imagine a 24-hour map inside your body, not just a vague concept, but a real ticking schedule that's been developing since birth, and one that has been shaped by millions of years of evolution. Every organ you have, your brain, heart, liver, even your skin, follows a rhythm, a pulse, a beat that tells it when to work, when to rest, when to repair. At the very center of this symphony sits a conductor, a tiny region in your brain just above the optic nerves called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN. It's about the size of a grain of rice, and yet it's the master clock. It listens to light. It watches your behavior. And based on what it sees, it synchronizes everything else: your hunger hormones, your energy, your sleep pressure, your metabolism, your immune response, even how your genes express themselves. But here's what most people don't realize. That master clock doesn't just know what time it is, it has to be told. And its number one timekeeper is light. When light enters your eyes, even before you're fully awake, special receptors send signals directly to the SCN. These signals say, it's morning, time to turn off melatonin, time to raise your cortisol, time to wake up the system. And just like that, the day begins. Your body temperature starts to rise. Your heart rate picks up. You feel a little more alert, a little more coordinated. Around midday, your cognitive performance peaks. Your memory is sharper. Your reaction time is faster. Your focus tightens. Then comes the afternoon dip, the moment you crave coffee or a nap. Your body's telling you it's a natural time for rest, but most of us push through it. By early evening, melatonin begins to rise again, slowly, subtly. Your body temperature drops. Digestion starts to slow. Muscles begin to relax. Your body is winding down. That's the natural pattern. But here's where it gets messy. Modern life has hijacked almost every one of those signals. Your master clock is expecting bright light in the morning, but instead, you stay inside, in dim rooms, under artificial bulbs that barely register as day to your brain. You should be winding down when the sun sets, but instead you flood your face with screens, overhead lighting, stimulation, emails, shows, alerts. To your SCN, it's like the sun never sets. So it never gives the signal to sleep. Even worse, your organs, your liver, pancreas, stomach, kidneys, each have their own internal clocks. And guess what tells them what time it is? Not light, but food. So when you eat a heavy meal at 11 p.m., your body gets confused. Your brain might be starting to wind down, but your digestive system just got the signal that it's lunchtime. The clocks fall out of sync. And when that happens repeatedly, day after day, year after year, The result is chaos, silent, invisible, but chaos nonetheless. Sleep quality drops, energy crashes become normal, fatigue becomes chronic. You might blame your job or your stress, levels or your age, but deep inside your system is fractured. Your clocks are out of rhythm, and your circadian rhythm? It's still trying, still adjusting, still looking for a pattern to anchor itself. But it can't anchor to inconsistency. It needs regularity. It needs clear cues. It needs you to cooperate. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. About giving your body the signals it was designed to follow. Morning light within the first hour of waking, meals at roughly the same times, movement during daylight, darkness at night. Not silence, not supplements, not struggle, just rhythm. Because when your rhythm returns, your body remembers what it means to feel normal. And in the next part, we'll dive deeper into what happens when you live in alignment. How your brain, mood, metabolism, and sleep transform once the rhythm is restored. It's not just about sleep anymore. It's about everything. You probably never thought your mood swings had anything to do with the time you ate breakfast, or that the reason you always feel foggy around 3 p.m. isn't because of your lunch, but because your body expected sunlight hours ago and never got it, or that your metabolism, your hunger, your ability to concentrate, even how emotionally reactive you are, all of that is being whispered into existence by a silent rhythm deep inside your biology, a rhythm that most people ignore, and then wonder why everything feels off. Because here's the truth, no one told you in school, and most doctors still don't say out loud, your circadian rhythm isn't just about sleep, it's about survival. Your immune system, for example, doesn't work the same at all hours. At night, it ramps up cellular repair and inflammation control. That's why people with disrupted sleep tend to get sick more often. Their immune system is out of sync with their sleep cycle. Your brain? It has a built-in cleaning system called the glymphatic system, and it only works when you're asleep, and only if you're sleeping at the right time. So if you think you can make up for a late night by sleeping in, think again. It's not just about quantity, it's about timing. Hormones? Same story. Your body releases cortisol in waves, naturally rising in the early morning to get you moving and falling in the evening to help you relax. But if you're checking emails under blue light at 11 p.m., you're triggering stress hormones right when your body should be powering down. Over time, this disrupts your cortisol rhythm, leading to anxiety, irritability, and even weight gain. And then there's melatonin, the famous sleep hormone. Most people think of it as a kind of natural sleeping pill, but it's much more than that. Melatonin is your body's nighttime mode. It tells every cell in your body that it's time to rest, repair, and reset. Without it, or with it being delayed by screen, stress, or light, your whole system stays in a kind of artificial daytime, even if your eyes are closed. And then we wonder why sleep feels shallow, why our dreams feel fragmented, why we wake up feeling like we barely rested at all. But it doesn't stop there. Your metabolism is also tied to your circadian rhythm. Studies show that eating at the wrong time, especially late at night, messes with insulin sensitivity, blood, sugar control, fat storage, and even appetite hormones like ghrelin and leptin. In other words, when you eat outside your natural rhythm, your body treats food differently. It holds onto fat. It spikes your cravings. It stops responding the way it should. Not because you're weak, but because you're out of rhythm. Even your heart follows the clock. Heart attacks and strokes are more likely to happen in the early morning, when cortisol spikes, blood pressure rises, and the body transitions from rest to action. It's all on a schedule. And that schedule? It was never meant to be random. But most of us live like it is. We stay up late, sleep in on weekends, skip breakfast, over-caffeinate, crash in the afternoon, stay on screens until we collapse. And then we wonder why we feel anxious, unfocused, wired but tired. The irony is painful. In our effort to take control of time, to stretch it, squeeze it, dominate it, we've lost our rhythm with it. And yet, underneath it all, your body still remembers. It remembers what it means to rise with light, to move with the sun, to wind down with darkness. to follow the patterns written into your DNA long before alarm clocks, office jobs, or midnight snacks. And here's the most beautiful part. This isn't about going backward. It's about aligning forward. It's about working with your biology, not against it. Giving your body the consistency it's begging for. And in return, letting it do what it does best. Regulate, restore, and renew you. Because once you realize your circadian rhythm controls everything, you finally understand why everything feels broken when it's ignored. And in the next part, we'll explore what happens when you repair that rhythm. How your brain, body, and sleep come back online, in harmony. Let's imagine something. You wake up tomorrow and do everything right. Not extreme, just consistent. You get out of bed at the same time you did yesterday. You open the curtains. You step outside, even for 5 minutes. Morning light hits your eyes and sends a message straight to the command center in your brain. The signal that says, it's daytime. Let's begin. You feel the difference immediately. Not because you're suddenly bursting with energy, but because something clicks. You don't crash as hard before lunch. Your mind doesn't feel so foggy. Your thoughts start to move in a straight line, not a spiral. You eat breakfast, nothing fancy, just real food at a real time. And without knowing it, you've now given your peripheral clocks, the ones in your liver, gut, pancreas, a signal too. They align with the master clock. The system starts syncing. By midday, your body temperature peaks. This is when you're meant to be sharp, alert. And when you are aligned, that clarity shows up in small, powerful ways. You remember things more easily. You react quicker. Your emotions don't jump all over the place. You don't need to reach for caffeine as often because you're riding your natural rhythm instead of trying to override it. You step outside again in the afternoon. Even 10 minutes of natural light reinforce the rhythm. Your body registers the slow descent of the sun, prepares to wind down. Dinner comes at a regular time. Not too late, not rushed. Your blood sugar stays stable. Your digestion flows smoother. And when the lights begin to dim, your body begins to do what it was made to do. Prepare for sleep, not forcefully. Not through exhaustion or chemical shutdown, but through rhythm. Through softness. Melatonin begins to rise naturally. You start to feel drowsy, not because you've earned it through chaos, but because your body recognizes the timing. Your temperature drops, your muscles loosen, your thoughts get slower, quieter. You look at a screen, then you stop. You read instead, or breathe, or let silence carry you to bed. And when you finally close your eyes, it happens. Sleep doesn't feel like a negotiation anymore. It's not something you're chasing or struggling to hold on to. It just arrives, as it was always meant to. This is what your body has been trying to do all along. It's been sending signals for years, asking for regularity, asking for rest, asking for alignment. But instead, we've responded with alarms, stimulants, blue light, binge sessions, all-nighters, skipped meals, pushed limits. And your rhythm? It didn't fight back. It adapted. It shifted. It tried to keep you functional. That's the beauty and tragedy of the human body. It will run itself into the ground just to keep you moving forward, even when moving forward is destroying your balance. But what if you stopped fighting it? What if you gave your body just a little bit of what it's been missing? Because the journey back to rhythm isn't built on discipline. It's built on trust. Trust that your biology still knows the way. Trust that small, consistent habits can reprogram the very system that once felt broken. This isn't about perfection. It's not about waking up at 5 a.m. and taking cold showers. It's about reclaiming your internal timing, about remembering that every part of you, from your brain to your blood sugar, operates best on rhythm. That's the key to all of it. You don't need to control everything. You just need to let your rhythm lead. And in the next part, we'll talk about what actually causes your rhythm to go off track, and the single most overlooked habit that might be sabotaging your alignment every single night. You probably think your sleep problems start when you lay down, but what if they actually begin around 7 p.m.? Think about it. That's the moment when your body expects the world to start slowing down, when light should fade, when sounds soften, when food stops, when stillness begins. But for most people, 7 p.m. is just another gear shift into more stimulation. You finish work and rush into a bright kitchen. You cook under artificial light. You scroll while you eat. You watch TV in a fully lit room. You answer messages, refresh feeds, respond to group chats. You stare into your phone until the moment you decide it's time to sleep. And then, like flipping a switch, you expect your body to immediately obey. It doesn't. Because here's the twist nobody talks about. Your circadian rhythm doesn't start working when you sleep. It starts deciding how you'll sleep, hours before you even think about bed. That means every decision you make after sunset is either reinforcing your rhythm or destroying it. Your body is tracking light exposure like it's a survival code. If your brain still sees blue light at 9 or 10 p.m., it assumes the sun is up. It suppresses melatonin. It delays every restorative process. Your internal night mode gets postponed, or even canceled. You feel awake, but it's artificial. And when you finally put the phone down, you're not ready for sleep. You're hormonally hijacked. Now your body temperature is too high. Your cortisol levels are off. Your nervous system is alert. And worst of all, your internal clock has just been confused. Again, this is why even the most disciplined nighttime routines fail, because the damage happens earlier, quietly, invisibly, before you even notice. That extra episode, that last scroll, that late meal, that kitchen light left on, each one seems harmless, but each one sends your rhythm the wrong signal. Here's what your body wants instead: a gentle slope, a descent into rest, a few dimmed lights, a quiet room. No more food, no more stimulation, just stillness. And if you give it that, even a little, something powerful starts to happen. Melatonin rises on time. Your heart rate slows. Your thoughts calm naturally. Sleep comes easier and deeper. Not because of what you did at 11:58 p.m., but because of what you didn't do at 8:12 p.m. That's the real secret. Deep sleep begins long before bed. And here's the most surprising part. Once your body learns this rhythm again, it starts craving it. You'll notice it. You'll yawn earlier. Your brain will ask for quiet. Your stomach will stop asking for snacks at night. Your whole system will begin to lean into predictability. Because your body isn't lazy. It's not broken. It's just been waiting for the rhythm to come back, and once it does, everything else starts falling into place. Not just your sleep, but your energy, mood, mental clarity, and even self-control. Why? Because a body in rhythm is a body in balance, and balance changes everything. In the next part, I'll show you how to start that shift, with 3 things you can do tonight to begin restoring your circadian rhythm and finally feel the difference the moment you wake up. Let's stop pretending that fixing your sleep requires a perfect routine. You don't need an ice bath at 6 a.m., a $500 blackout curtain, or some magical tea from a Himalayan village. You just need rhythm. And rhythm starts with one thing: signals. Your body is constantly looking for them. The circadian system doesn't run on willpower. It runs on cues: light, food, movement, stillness. When those cues are clear and consistent, your body aligns itself naturally. When they're random or conflicting, everything breaks down, quietly, slowly, invisibly. But the good news? It doesn't take much to get back on track. So tonight, do this. Dim the lights early. Not just when you're about to sleep. Start 2 to 3 hours before. Lamps instead of ceiling lights. Warm tones instead of cool. Your brain responds to light intensity and color. When the light drops, so does your alertness. Your melatonin rises sooner. Your body begins its descent into rest without you forcing it. Second, cut off screens earlier than you think. Not 5 minutes before bed. Try 60. Yes, 60. It's not just the light from screens, it's the input, the scrolling, the replies, the short videos, the random internet rabbit holes. Your brain doesn't process them passively. It lights up. It becomes active. That's the opposite of what it needs. So if you can't quit screens entirely at night, try shifting the habit. Read a physical book, journal under a soft lamp, listen to calm music with your eyes closed. Train your brain to associate evenings with quiet again. Third, wake up with light and do it consistently. The first 30 minutes after you wake up are golden. Go outside, sit near a window, let your eyes catch natural light. That one cue tells your master clock, it's daytime now, let's go. And if you do it at the same time every day, even weekends, you're giving your body something priceless, predictability. And that predictability starts bleeding into everything else. Your energy, your hunger, your digestion, your focus, your emotions. Sleep doesn't just improve, it stabilizes. You start falling asleep when you're supposed to, not just if you're lucky. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to shift a few anchors back into place. Start with lights, then screens, then morning light. Keep them steady. Let your body relearn the cues. Because once your body recognizes a pattern, it responds. The rhythm returns. And that rhythm? It brings more than just sleep. It brings clarity, the kind you forgot you were missing. It brings energy. Not the jittery, synthetic kind, but a calm, steady flow that makes you feel human again. It brings stability. In mood, in appetite, in decisions you didn't realize were even connected to your sleep in the first place. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent enough to be predictable. That's what your biology wants. Not a flawless routine, but one it can count on. And when you give it that, sleep stops being a struggle. It becomes a rhythm. And in the final part, we'll revisit the whole picture and leave you with one last thought that might change how you see every hour of your day. You didn't break your body. You've just been living out of rhythm, and it's not your fault. The world you live in was built against it. Artificial light, endless noise, constant stimulation, the culture of go until you crash. Everything pulls you away from what your biology was designed for. Patterns, signals, cycles, silence. But somewhere deep inside, your body still remembers. It remembers what it's like to wake with the sun, not with a blaring alarm. To eat when hungry, not when distracted. To wind down with darkness, not with distraction. To drift into sleep not through exhaustion, but through readiness. This rhythm inside you, your circadian rhythm, it's not just a timer for sleep. It's a blueprint for balance. It governs your clarity in the morning and your peace at night. It shapes your focus, your patience, your emotions, your resilience. It decides when your body repairs, when it lets go, when it holds on. It's a silent metronome beneath everything you do. And when it's out of tune, life feels harder. Not dramatically, but subtly, constantly. You lose your edge, not in one moment, but in 100 small ones. The moment you snap at someone you love, for no reason. The moment you forget what you just read. The moment you reach for junk food because you feel empty. The moment you hit snooze for the third time and still feel exhausted. The moment you look in the mirror and don't recognize your own fatigue. But then something shifts. You start aligning, and slowly, the fog lifts. You wake up and don't feel resentful of the morning. You focus without having to fight for it. You eat, and your body responds with ease. You lay down, and sleep doesn't resist you. That's not luck. That's rhythm, and when you live inside that rhythm, when you trust it, protect it, and return to it, everything feels less like a battle and more like a breath. You stop surviving your days. You start inhabiting them. Because what you do before bed isn't just about the night. It's about everything that comes after. It's the foundation for tomorrow's strength, tomorrow's clarity, tomorrow's calm, and your circadian rhythm. It's been there the whole time, waiting for you to listen. So tonight, listen, and let your body remember the music. The rhythm has always been there. Beneath the chaos, beneath the habits, beneath the noise, your body has never stopped listening for the right signals. And once you give them, consistently, gently, patiently, something shifts. Sleep feels natural. Energy feels stable. Life feels clearer. You don't need to force your body into rest. You just need to let it return to the rhythm it was made for. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt like your sleep was out of sync, even when everything seemed normal? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone, and if this video helped you see things differently, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of calm, clarity, and deep sleep again.